Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the Scorpio Full Moon that's happening on May 18th, 2019. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, just a couple of days before this full moon, Venus moves into the sign of Taurus and comes up with Uranus. Now, Uranus and Taurus is a lot of the energy that we've been feeling, trying to get used to it, trying to figure out what this new chapter means with Uranus in a new sign. Now, the sun is still in Taurus, but will be moving out of Taurus and into Gemini just after this full moon, because this full moon happens at 27 degrees Scorpio. So the full moon is when the moon is in the opposite of the sun. And so it's there at 27 degrees Scorpio. This is coming to the end degrees of Scorpio. That's talking about an energy of completion. So Scorpio can be an intense energy because it's about revealing the shadow. It's about facing the truth. It's about cleaning up the subconscious. And that's exactly what is going on. This full moon could actually help us kind of clean up, mop up what's been happening to us, because over the last month or two, we've had a ton of transits with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, coming up with the South Node and squaring up with Mercury and Venus. So it's just been like bam, 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 one aspect after another as these planets move on their journey. And it's just been, for a lot of people, a huge karmic energy where patterns are coming up, old people coming up, old energies coming up, and just that really powerful feeling of being back in an old story, right? Almost like you just stepped over into that past life, and now all of the players are back in your life playing it out, the same story, different time. And it can be really intense because we don't have the access in our conscious mind to these old stories, and yet they're happening to us. So that can be actually really helpful. There could be some clarity around this full moon in Scorpio because it's time for us to get down to the nitty-gritty of what these stories are and clear them out of our field. And this is also, there's quite an epic energy going on because right after this full moon, Mercury comes into a conjunction with the sun. And that will be its first time coming up with the sun since its retrograde that happened at the end of Pisces that we started feeling in March. And so there is an energy of finally getting to some understanding about what the last couple of months have been about. Mercury is our conceptual reality, and that retrograde in the second part of Pisces really threw it for a loop. All of us are just kind of like, whoa, what just happened? I don't know, still confused, but now it's time to make sense of it a little bit more, because the sun and Mercury coming together is like, okay, our identity, who are we? Right? And it's really about who are we who do we need to be? And who will we be in the future as we move into this Aquarian age, which we're just really feeling with these planets in Taurus, this higher vibrational frequency energy that's being infused into our physical reality right now, just by the planetary evolution where we're moving through in the galaxy. And it's just like these new and different energies coming in. And so now that we have Mercury in Taurus along with the sun, we're examining this. And Mercury has just come off of its conjunction with Uranus. And then Venus will take its place, coming into that conjunction with Uranus for this full moon. But Mercury for this full moon is coming close to the sun. That means it's going to be opposite the full moon in Taurus, near the sun, while the moon is in Scorpio. And that's the deal with full moons. They have this like illumination energy. And where is the illumination energy pointing at right now? It's in Scorpio. The end of Scorpio, the end degrees of Scorpio, 27, 2 and 7, add those up and it's 9 in numerology, the end of a cycle. And we've had a lot of Scorpio energies going on over the last couple of 3-4 years. And it's interesting because now we're having this massive Capricorn, which is like our authority energy, where we've given our power away and trying to take back our power, trying to become sovereign in our own being. And we need to clear the shadow to do that, right? So there's going to be stuff coming up around this full moon of like old stuff from the last few years, right? And maybe lifetimes and, eons and all that. But we are kind of getting deeper into the root system. And so there's an empowerment energy here at being able to actually make sense of what we've gone through and start to reorient in our direction and in our life and in our path into this new energy. The new energy has just been kind of like throwing people off because especially with all of that Pisces confusion that we've been working through, it's like, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. And I feel like more than ever, like I'm supposed to be pushing forward and doing something. And yet I just don't even know where to put my energy. I just don't even know what to do next. And this is coming up too with the Uranus and Taurus, because we're being asked with these planets in Taurus right now to redefine our connection to how we survive, what we need to survive. Taurus is like the comforts of this world, what we need to deal with being in a physical body and taking care of ourselves and being taken care of by our world. And with, that's very interesting. The message is coming through alongside the North Node in Cancer about nurturing, right? And Taurus has this energy of, Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So moving into Taurus right here in these next couple of days, it's a little settling. It's kind of like coming home, but we're also coming into this energy about whether or not we deserve this new chapter. Right? So we're coming face to face with that energy. The moon in Scorpio showing us the deeper shadow roots of why we don't feel like we might deserve this new chapter. We're orienting ourselves. We're trying to shed the old skins of the things that don't fit so we can move into this new chapter. But we have to face these energies around our relationship to survival on this planet. And how do you move into your greater purpose when you're so busy surviving, right? And that's kind of been the trick of this world. And the control energies want to keep us in that place, where we can't really dream or expand our consciousness because we're too busy trying to get by day to day. So this takes an incredible power of will, in the spiritual will, in the energy of the daily will activities, and claiming for yourself the space you need and the time you need and the support that you need to really flourish here. And we go back to what I talked about in my last video around the plant consciousness of the plant realm and how they do not deny the gift of the minerals in the soil or the sun shining. It's like, yes, of course I'm going to take that. Yes, of course I'm going to receive. And yet human beings are really bad at receiving. And we are stuck in some really dark patterns around poverty and survival mode that just, it's such a challenge to break out of. But by using our will and demanding and commanding and knowing we deserve it, doing that self-worth work and finding those deeper roots of this yucky belief systems, we can allow ourselves to adjust. And maybe this is what the tension's going on. It's almost like with the North Node Cancer and Uranus and Taurus, it's kind of like, you guys, we're moving into this new and different way of being. And that new way of being is going to feel very disruptive if you don't allow these shifts to happen. So a lot of people who are feeling a lot of anxiety and tension right now has to do with the resistance to this shift that's trying to happen. But we do need to learn to receive. And right now, gosh, I don't know if there's a better time to break out of these poverty contracts and this low self-worth stuff that's been programmed into our field, because we've got these beautiful aspects with Mercury is having that it's across from the full moon, still at the end of Aries there, and it's going to be just before, it's in Taurus, and it's across the full moon, and it's sextiling with the North Node in Cancer. So Mercury in Taurus is sextiling the North Node, and also Neptune is trining the North Node. Okay, so we're having a little magical moment here where we're still being asked to go into the muck with the Scorpio energy and look for real at the truth of our subconscious programming. But we have this sweet energy. So much energy over the last couple of months has been around the South Node and the past and what's dragging on us. And now we're having some energy of the future. With this Taurus energy, it's like we got to change our relationship to whether or not we deserve and how we get to have what we need to be able to live a bigger, wider life, to have a spiritual existence, right? We need to get some shit handled. We need to learn how to nurture ourselves. We need to learn how to receive. We need to completely change up our lives to allow, and it's going against everything that's out there right now. It's like there's not enough time. You've got technology and responsibilities and ties and busyness and activity, and it's just like it's distraction after distraction. And we have to decide that we're worth peace of mind and we're worth space to be able to work these things out, right? So we have to, maybe there's an energy around like micro adjustments here into getting used to this new energy, but we have to decide we're willing to receive. That's what the universe is telling us right now. And a sweet little moment to break through these old patterns with that Mercury sextile, the North Node, and Neptune trine the North Node. So the North Node is our future karma. Like, how are we going to get to where we're going? In Cancer, it's about nurturing in these issues of like our evolution cannot continue on this planet Earth until we learn to receive and we learn to care for each other and learn to deserve care. It's deep programming, but it's coming up. So these are harmonious transits to the North Node. And with Mercury, that conceptual reality, there's creative solutions here, right? So we can change, get out of the dark ages of that Piscean age of that Mercury retrograde and change our perspective towards the new. So many souls that are aware are waiting around for the energies to change. And actually it's happening now, right? But the changes happen here first. And so if we're going to wait around for a savior or something to shift out there so we can be at peace in here, that's tough going, but it's how we all feel, and we've got to be willing to let these energies infuse us in our heart and open our heart, open to nurturing, open to a connection to the planet, to Mother Earth, to that divine feminine, that feeling of connection. Again, we cannot evolve beyond this point unless we can do this. And so light worker souls, sensitive right now, if you're feeling these energies and you're feeling these shifts and you're trying to make sense of it, it means it's an opportunity for you to allow these energies to imbue you, to claim. Maybe part of this hectic energy is about pushing us into claiming that sacred space, that quiet, meditative time for ourselves to be able to process what's happening on an energetic level. We just don't have any choices, where this is kind of the whole energetic energy of the time we're in right now. I don't know how many times I could say energy, but we are having to allow for our space and make space and honor ourselves enough to have space for real life, right? Not all of this crap we have to do here. We have to go through our life. It's not mutually exclusive, right? But Uranus and Taurus, so we got, we just had Mercury come up with it, and then for this full moon we'll be feeling Venus in the next couple of days. We're going to be feeling Venus in this conjunction with Uranus, and it's saying this is the new Earth energies, and it's time to ground out and make space for what's happening. What if you've been working and waiting for lifetimes for this time right here, right now? You know, and you're too busy on your cell phone, right? Okay, well, I can relate to that, but it's a challenge that we're all in, but the spiritual reality of our world is coming crashing down into our lives. And it might be through karma, it might be through new energies, it might be through your nervous system, it might be through opportunities, it might be through shifting these belief systems to allow yourself to receive and care for yourself, have respect for yourself on a spiritual level. Uranus represents radical changes, and we're looking at the radical changes that need to happen in our physical manifested reality for this evolution to continue. So here we are, we're learning how to nurture ourselves, and so that we can nurture others. And we're learning how to heal where we haven't been nurtured. And we're learning how to receive and to be in connection, coming out of the illusion of separation. You know, this is a lot of this Cancer and Capricorn and energy of coming back into, out of some idea that there's some authority force out there that can say whether or not you deserve or receive or can receive, and come into this autonomy with our own being and reprogram all that stuff around whether or not we deserve to be nurtured. And it's, you know, I can kind of feel this energy of, if I saw you walking down the street and I said, hey, you have a fear, you don't want to let yourself be nurtured, you know, you'd be like, what are you talking about? You know, this is deep, deep subconscious stuff that we're all working on. And that's part of the energy of the nodes of the moon. You know, it's like generational energies that are working through in our collective consciousness. And so it is all about coming out of that illusion of separation, that there's God or source is something outside of ourselves that we've been forsaken, we need to earn it back, all that stuff, and come back into this direct connection, come back into the healing of that separation. And that's where this nurturing, this grounding, this space, this worthiness, this healing of those old stories comes in. So really powerful work. It's like we're all in our own little world, but we're also it's happening in the collective, and it's happening to people around you. So just be gentle and sensitive with each other. Forgiveness is really huge. You know, all this stuff though, receiving, forgiveness, love, nurturing, we cannot even conceive of that outside of ourselves until we can do it for ourselves. And so we are in a kind of this, a lot of people are feeling just like the inner work is so intense right now. It's just in this little bubble of trying to just work, just keep up with the energies. And, but just don't forget, we're all going through it. And even the unconscious people are going through it. And they will go through it in their own way. And you'll be there to help them. Because look at everything that you've gone through. And the other side is really sweet and light and free, and a feeling of trust and being held by this world and supported by these energies. You know, these new energies are disruptive, but they're actually supportive. And I've talked about this before, but I'm kind of called to talk about it again, that if you're a person that's struggled with 3D reality and the regular everyday world and the conception and the narrowness of feeling like your body and this life is too small for who you are, the new energies are going to be freeing you, but also holding you in a new way, in a way that the physical world, the lower vibrational, more solid reality, so-called solid, isn't supportive to you. But most people, it feels pretty supportive. Like they like the ground under their feet. They like knowing that the wall that was there before is also there now, right? Some of us are more comfortable with a little bit of a different relationship to our physical world. And so that's why we're here. And so the more these energies shift, once, you know, we have the resistance, we have the going and dealing with our karma, we have the shadow work, we have all that stuff. But when you work through the higher level of consciousness, it's like, oh, okay, this world can support me. I can feel it supporting me. Whereas your narrow confine of your reality before felt like it was just kind of working against you, like a clumsy relationship too, and this is kind of can happen in your chart, or when you have Saturn affliction in your chart. So it has a lot to do with the Saturn energy that's going on right now, Saturn at home in Capricorn, trying to line us up with our spiritual reality and our physical reality. But if you're one of these people, then you're going to be feeling lighter and freer and understand on a bigger level what's happening. You're going to be there for the people that have been clinging to this physical world because that's all they know and that's what makes them feel safe. And we know that that's not, it's not even real, right? And so you are being called right now, and everything you're going through is so that you can start to get to work on what you're here to do. It doesn't mean go out and do something. It means be who you are, love yourself, care for yourself, be ready, prepare, for, get out of the resistance and prepare for this upcoming time where you will be very needed energetically by the people around you. And, your gifts of all the hard work you've done to get here and everything you've done to be the soul that you are way before you ever came to Earth evolution, that's going to pay off big. And it's a whole point, but you haven't even gotten to the point to be able to use what you're here to use, right? Maybe glimpses in past lives in this Earth evolution, but often thwarted and blocked. And so it's time to get back on the path, get back on the quest with Jupiter and Sagittarius. It's like, okay, time to come back to the whole reason why we even bothered to do this. And that in itself brings a sense of lightness in your being when you can commit to being here, knowing all the work you put into being here, and commit to being here, come here fully and completely so you can complete your experience, so you can have this beautiful experience of fully expressing these latent gifts within you. It's going to be so fun. And so, again, the message has been coming through in this intense time. Like, thank you so much for showing up, being who you are, doing what you're doing, breathing the air and staying on the planet and seeing through this. There's just a lot of appreciation and gratitude from other realms for what we're going through right now and the space that we're holding to go through this really energetically tumultuous time on the planet. So good work. Keep it up. It's funny because it's like this astrology, it's kind of there's always this thing of like, well, when is this gonna pass? Like, when are we gonna get back to normal? And it's like, new normal. New normal, and we don't know anything about what it is, and we're just like, it's the blind leading the blind, but actually it's not. We just have to we have to nurture ourselves, we have to heal, we have to make space in our lives, and we have to open up our higher knowing and see that bigger, wider path and hold that truth for the people around us. And you're really important in this. If you're listening to this, you're really important in this chapter, in this Earth evolution. So thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting soon. I hope you can join me for this full moon activation. It's going to be on Friday the 17th at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And so I look forward to seeing you there for a live activation. It's $10. If you can't make the live, you can still sign up, catch the replay. The replay is at the same link directly after the event. And so the energy will be encoded. That's exactly 24 hours before the actual full moon. And so it gives us some time to incubate in this energy and really be present for what's happening in this incredibly amazing dynamic time, very much punctuated and highlighted by this Scorpio full moon. So I look forward to seeing you. I hope you have a wonderful full moon, and until next time, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.